Hi, Sharon Brennan here, Cottage Lane Stamper. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from New Ulm, Minnesota. A quaint little town that's pretty much German, has a lot of festivals, so if you're ever in the area, make sure you stop in. Today I wanted to kind of give you a comprehensive overview of embossing folders and how to emboss with a die. So, I think I'll begin with a review of the embossing folders. Essentially, when I started about 10 years ago, we had basically this standard embossing folder. It's not very thick, and most of the companies that produced embossing folders, this is what you got, like if you got them at Michael's or Joann's or Hobby Lobby or wherever. I don't know. I don't think Hobby Lobby does it. Anyway, sorry. But Michael's and Joann's and other craft stores. So this is just a standard embossing folder. Then Stampin' Up! In cooperation with Sizzix, they made our embossing folders, and they first came out with the 3D embossing folder, so you can see that they are a little bit, I'll kind of go like that, stagger them so you can see the different thickness. So this embossing folder was really thick. Then Stampin' Up! Started producing their own embossing folders, and the Sizzix ones will have Sizzix at the top. The newer embossing folders that are 3D that Stampin' Up! Put out are not quite as thick. I'll try to stagger all three of these so you can kind of get an idea on the thickness of them. And so they all took different sandwiches. So I'm going to show you what those were in case you have some of these, or maybe you see one that you like on a Facebook group that sells retired embossing folders. And so they all take a different sandwich. So we are going to start, get my plates organized here. I've got my Stampin' Boss machine, die cutting machine. So I'm doing them in different colors. So these are ones that I've already done. So we are going to start with the standard embossing folder. So we're doing that one in the green. And we're going to slide our paper in there. Some of these, if you cut your paper just a little bit longer, then you can shove it all the way up to the edge. Or if you're going to cut it down, then you can push it all the way to the edge. Otherwise, there is a little space, about, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch there. So you might want to just line those up. And we're going to use our base plate, which is number 1. And we're going to use a clear plate. We're going to use the embossing folder and another clear plate, number 3, if you're using a Stampin' Up! Machine. So, and there's another tip. When you place these in your machine, no matter which kind of machine it is, make sure you have the fold going in first, because otherwise it's going to put, if you go this way through the machine, it's going to put a lot of pressure on this fold here, and eventually it will crack. And I don't know about you, but that would make me very sad. So we're going to just run this through. So this is just the standard embossing folder. Oh, if I staggered my plates, it wouldn't pop as much. So that is the standard one. Then we're going to move on to the next one that we got, the 3D embossing folder from Stampin' Up. And that one, let's see, what did we do? We did yellow with that. And I believe that one we did not use a bottom clear plate. I think we just use the embossing folder and then the clear plate on top. I remember, right? Yep. Because if you put a clear plate on the bottom, it's going to be too thick. So I'm going to kind of hold this down so it doesn't pop quite so bad. So that is the Sizzix 3D embossing folder. Okay. Now, Stampin' Up! Came out with their own 3D folder, which is a little bit thinner. So then we are going to use a clear plate on the bottom. Going to put our paper in. If you're interested, this is called Seashells. This is a hybrid folder, but I'm not using the dies. I'm just using the folder right now. And it's retired. So then Stampin' Up, when it came out with this machine and the 3D folders, it came out with this gray plate. And I have a little note on there to use it with the, let's see, whoops, I guess we don't need the bottom plate. I don't do this very often, so we're just gonna use no clear plates, just the base plate and this 3D number 4 gray plate. So those are the embossing folders and how to die cut. Now another thing, if you want to get even better impression, even with your standard embossing folders, just give them a little spritz, very light spritz with water, or I use alcohol too because it evaporates faster. So that's just another little tip. Now, say you have some real pretty dies and you want to emboss with them. Well, I got this a few years ago. It's called an impressions plate, but Stampin' Up! Doesn't, they just came out with an impressions plate, but it's entirely different than this. So I'm gonna, since this isn't Stampin' Up! And I've had this for like over 10 years, I've bought it before I became a demonstrator, I'm gonna show you how to do die cutting or embossing with your dies. Now, what did I do with my die? Let's see. Got my things laying all over here. Here it is. Okay. And this is, what is this called? Tulips something, love, or I'll get the name of it. I have the folder laying here. But anyway, I thought this was kind of a pretty die set. Sorry. This is the third time I've done this video and I'm having technical difficulties, so bear with me. But I'll have to find the envelope for this. set. This is the other two, the rest of the dies that are in this set. So we are going to put down our base plate, a clear plate, then I'm going to use my silicone mat. And then I'm going to put down my paper and my die and a clear plate and then a couple of shims. Now this is just backing from DSP. As you can see, it's got some of the writing on it. So I used one and it didn't give me the impression that I wanted. And your machine may be different too. As far as how many shims you may need. So I'm just using two, and we're just going to pass this through. And the first time I did this, I thought, oh golly, I hope it doesn't cut my mat, because that would make me sad. So we're taking those two off, taking off the clear plate. Yay, my silicone mat did not get cut. And if you can see the die, the embossing, there we go. It's kind of hard in this light. But there, that's how you can emboss with just using your regular plates, a silicone mat, and a couple of shims. So I thought that might be helpful. I know Stampin' Up! Has just come out with an impressions plate, but it is more like a silicone mat. It's a little bit thicker than this. But, you know, sometimes you just want to use what you got. So there is the embossing with a die. There's the embossing with the Stampin' Up! 3D embossing folder. Kind of move these up a little bit. This is the embossing with the Sizzix 3D folder, and this is the embossing with the standard folder. You can see that. And so those are your options. I hope this is helpful to you. I didn't want to show you with the impressions plate because I'm not even sure if it's available anymore. The one that I have anyway. So I just wanted to show you how to do it with just, you probably have a silicone mat. If you don't, I think these are like maybe $6 or something like that. But that's how you can use what you have and emboss. So I hope you find this helpful. If you do, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and make a comment. And let me know how you like it, okay? I appreciate you taking the time to stop in and watch us. And take care, and may God bless.